Hey, welcome investors to the 40 Finance channel. My name's Jeff Beers. Today, I'm going to show you behind the scenes on DraftKings. As you know, I invested in DraftKings stock a couple months ago, and it seems like a fairly popular stock right now. I've gotten a handful of questions about it. I know not everybody has access to the DraftKings website, depending on where you live in the world, and others may not want to go through the process of signing up. So I just thought I'd take you on a tour of the platform and show you why it's something that I enjoy playing as a big football fan, and maybe it'll help you when you're thinking about DraftKings stock if you decide to get into the online gaming play. Reminder as always that my stock picks and projections, they're just my opinion for your entertainment. Please make sure you do your own research before jumping into any stock. And of course, if you like stock market analysis and personal finance videos, please make sure you subscribe to the 40 Finance channel. Thank you to everyone who has helped this channel grow so far. All right, just to recap my bull case on DraftKings, it centers around the fact that sports gambling is starting to become legalized in certain states across the United States. And the expectation, quite frankly, is that over time, more and more states are going to be added. I think right now the big ones that we have are Pennsylvania and New Jersey. There's parts of New York, Indiana's in there. There's a handful now, but this is a long-term stock gain if you're getting into this. DraftKings is relatively volatile, so you could probably find some dips and valleys in there, particularly during this COVID time. However, keep in mind that the real win is holding this one for 2 years, letting more states come online. So for example, I live in Ohio, and in Ohio you can play the daily fantasy games that I'll show you here today, but the actual sports betting portion is not legal here. However, funny enough, I can drive from Cincinnati to Indiana, which is just a couple hours, not even really, sit in my car within the state boundaries and actually place a sports bet. Now, I haven't done that yet, but it is something that I may try to do just for fun on Christmas, and it's not illegal to do at all, and I can actually redeem my winnings as long as I placed the bet within the legal confines of Indiana. All right, so this is the main homepage for the daily fantasy section. That's the game that I play and have been playing for several years now. We will also look at the sports book, and then they have the casino. However, just know that I cannot play any games on those platforms, but we will be able to preview them. But right now, the reason that I'm bullish on DraftKings is because I spend a couple $100s a month here during football season playing these daily fantasy contests. You can see right here, my current balance, or the amount I have to play, is $61. These little crowns and tickets are kind of like rewards that you win over time, just like bonuses, I guess you could say. And for those of you who are curious, yes, PFF Jeff, I worked at PFF for a few years leading the consumer and digital marketing team. And I still do some work with them, still friends with those guys, and do some consulting stuff on the side. However, right now I am focused on my own business. But during my time at PFF, we did a lot of stuff with DraftKings and fantasy sports in general. So that is where some of my background comes from, getting into all these crazy games. All right, so the first part to know about daily fantasy, and I'm just going to focus on football. I do play some of the other ones. I played NBA a little bit while it's in season, some NHL, but you can literally do these daily fantasy games for any sport. Baseball, NASCAR. They even have some of these online games that I have never done, but they're out there. Soccer, college games. You can't play college in Ohio because the amateur rules, so those are actually locked out of Ohio, but pretty much anything that's a professional sport, golf, etc., you can get into. All right, so how you play these games, there's a lot of different ways to get in and participate, and there's a lot of different strategies, much like the stock market, to how you're going to play. We are the day before Thanksgiving when I recorded this. So I'm going to click on the Thanksgiving games. We have 3 games scheduled for Thanksgiving. And basically what you have is these big tournaments. And you can see how many people participate, right? So this particular one has 56,000 people already registered who have each paid $20. Now, it's not 56,000 individuals because you can enter up to, I think it's 150 lineups, 100 or 150 at $20 a pop, and some people who are high rollers literally do that. Now, you might be thinking, why in the heck would you spend $2,000, let's say, to put in 100 entries in a game like this? And that is because the first prize is $1 million. Now, that is, part of the sell and the sexy side of daily fantasy. And even the second tier prizes aren't too bad, but it really is sort of a lottery ticket in the sense that all the strategy in the world, you definitely need some luck on your side as well. So everybody knows who the top, football players are. And again, I don't want to get too deep into strategy here because there's a whole nother game to it. But the bottom line is, and I'll show you in a second, that we put in lineups on players and you have a chance competing against 147,000 other players. This contest will for sure fill. And if you get the most points for your lineup, you get $1 million. And just to be clear, I have never won $1 million. I think my record is somewhere in this $1,000, $700 type prize. I can't remember what last year's top prize was for me. But it was in the neighborhood of $1,000. And I finished a few contests where I got really close to the $1,000 mark. And really for me, the strategy is to keep winning enough money to play for big prizes, essentially for free, right? So I play in high risk tournaments like this, knowing that I'm going to lose the majority of them. But I want to kind of like maybe grab a couple $1,000, $2,000 prizes along the way, and that helps fund my chances, right, to continue playing. So that's how I go about it. I 100% accept it as a losing proposition. Okay, let's take a look at how you get into these contests and how you build a lineup. I'm just going to pick, this is my Thanksgiving buy-in, what I've chosen to do. And what I've chosen, it looks like I've got 4 entries in this one, which is a $200,000 backyard slant. They have all these cutesy little names for it. So I chose this one because the competition is 26,000 people, and yet I still have a chance to get into the $1,000 categories. So even though the field is smaller, I still have a chance to get in on multiple $1,000 prizes. And I'm only coming in 4 entries times $9 is $36. A little slow on the math there. Knowing me and my experience, I can definitely compete in here and have a pretty good chance to at least finish break even, if not pull off another prize. Okay, so let's go in and look at my lineup. For right now, just so you guys know, I just put in a whole bunch of stupid names. I just wanted to reserve my spot. A lot of these contests fill. I just go in and populate a bunch of stupid names. That way I can get into the contest, reserve my seat, and go. But basically what you do is you have the player, you have their salary. The better the player, the higher their salary. And it's a game similar to the stock market because you're looking for inefficiencies, right? You're looking for low salary and high performance, just like you might be looking for low PE and high performance or high growth or whatnot. Sometimes it just is what it is, and the best players cost the most. I have a lot of valuation metrics that I go through, and I'm doing this off the top of my head. So for quarterback here, I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson. I do see that Ben Roethlisberger's a little cheaper. However, I'm just going to pick Lamar Jackson for this because he has more upside potential. And a lot of people will think that going against Pittsburgh's top defense, Lamar will not perform. And that could be true, but he's worth the risk due to the upside. Then you see what we have to fill. Running back, 3 wide receivers. So I'm just going to go very quickly. I'm going to pick Duke Johnson. Detroit's defense is not so hot, and Duke Johnson has had an elevated role because his counterpart, David Johnson, is on IR. You see that right here. All right, and you see like they give you this little tally. Okay, you have average remaining salary of $5,300 and total salary of $37,500. So when you see this average salary, you can see how expensive the big guys are, right? So Ezekiel Elliott, $6,800. So I'll just throw him in for fun, and you get kind of the picture. I'm just going to throw in a couple other guys. Normally, you would do a decent chunk of research and try to figure out where the deals are, so to speak. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to click away. Really, this is not a good lineup right off the bat because I've left a decent chunk of salary behind, but you get the idea. Then you hit updated entry and poof, you're in and ready to go. So that's the daily fantasy side of DraftKings. Now on the sportsbook side, this is the future, okay? And again, I can't play these games, but they've gamified it to a point that it really is addicting. You can see right here, what's this no-brainer? Thanksgiving no-brainer. Any touchdown doubles your money when either Baltimore or Pittsburgh find the end zone this Thanksgiving. If we do go down to football, though, you can see the different options that are available. And again, this is all online, never set foot in a casino. I'm doing this on desktop for demonstration purposes, but it works just as well on their mobile app. And in addition to just picking like over, under, point spread, money line, they have all these other crazy player props. And player props is when you bet on an individual player to do a certain thing. So touchdown scorer, you can bet that Duke Johnson is the first or last or scores in the game. And that same option applies to all these different individual players. So a lot of opportunity to find your niche, something that you're super comfortable with in these sports gaming apps. Team props, total points by Detroit Lions. Let's try to find something cool here. Detroit Lions to score first and win. That's kind of like a prop bet. Houston Texans to score first and win. So you can choose on these things. And this is just the NFL. And they have in-game betting as well. No crazy bookies to talk to. None of that stuff. This is soccer, Austria soccer, no idea. But within the game itself, you can bet, Austria would win. This game that's already started at 7:01 in the first half. So you can see how big this would be if you know anything about America, how people would get into this while watching their sports. Now, an often overlooked play in the DraftKings mobile sports betting is they do have casino games too. And yes, you can play these on the app. Obviously, I cannot because I'm not in the right restriction. I think some of these slots actually have demos. So this is literally a online slot machine. So they gave you $1,000 of, fake money, and let's bet up to $3 per spin. Hit the thing and see what happens here. No wins for me, so now I'm down to $9.97. And this is free money, so I don't have to worry about it. Ooh, still down. Try one more time. All right, I won $1.50, so I'm already down, whatever. $7.50 in this Fakeville Let's go for broke since it's fake money. $30 spin. Can we get back up to the top? And you see, guys, how quickly this money's disappearing. These guys can make a lot of money. This is online slot machines, and not even in the demo are they giving you any sort of fake promise that you're going to win $1 million. I'm not sure what's happening here, but I just won $5. So you get the picture on how this works. In that short time we spent together, though, it looks like $1,000 turned into $877, which means DraftKings, made $123 in the 2 minutes that I spent there. Granted, I was being a little goofy, but you get the idea. Okay, so that was a look behind the scenes at DraftKings. Hopefully it was helpful for you if you were curious about what is DraftKings, how does it work. The play with DraftKings is mobile. It is the internet. It has nothing to do with physical casinos. It is much different than the Wynn resorts, for example, where you have hotel beds and buffet dinners and VIPs and all that stuff. They don't have those capital allocations. They're not invested in physical real estate. It's all about quick props betting right from your phone. That is what I'm focused on. That's why I do not compare it to some of the other competitors that are out there, because most of them have physical locations that they have to prop up and keep profitable, whereas DraftKings just focuses on their apps and their technology. And once again, keep in mind, if you get in DraftKings, it will have volatility. The game is 2 years or so from there. Frankly, I will probably stick around at least until it is legalized in Ohio. Certainly would not even consider selling it until NFL season of next year. And I'll just keep riding it from that point. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes look at DraftKings. Please give me a like and subscribe if you did. We will see you on the next video.